Welcome to yet another fabulous Sunday night news and nonsense. How you doing, Toss?
I'm so excited to be here. Oh wait, that's a different thing. I'm doing good. You?
What was this Genesis thing you were talking about in the Arnold voice earlier?
Well, the next Terminator movie called Genesis, I believe it's almost finished or in the process of being finished. I think they filmed part of it in New Orleans, and I think it's going to be released this summer, starring the Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I thought I saw some little clips like that, but they're going to be showing him as his, normal age self. I guess they're not going to CGI him in or whatever. I have no idea. How is that going to work?
I'm curious. All I could say is I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
And then, of course, this year, the new Star Wars 7 will be coming out, and I'm sure everybody's excited about that. So, good stuff indeed. Good stuff indeed. Well, it looks like VMware is in the news. VMware sued over alleged open source license violation in Linux. VMware is being sued in a new legal action over alleged violations of GPL, GNU General Public License, open source licensed code from the Linux kernel. The legal action is being served in the District Court of Hamburg in Hamburg, Germany, and is backed by the Software Freedom Conservancy in support of leading Linux kernel software developer Christoph Hellwig. So apparently they're using some kind of code and that sort of thing, and apparently the Conservancy and Hellwig specifically assert that VMware has combined copyrighted Linux code licensed under the GPL version 2 with their own proprietary called VM kernel and distributed the entire combined work without providing nor offering complete corresponding source code for that combined work under the terms of the GPL version 2.
VMware.
Naughty.
Yeah, VMware. So, Smetry, is it a virtual lawsuit?
I don't know.
I could resist. It's been a while since we've talked about court stuff, law stuff. It's been kind of quiet, so
yeah,
I don't know.
It seems like every week we were going back and forth about all of these patent claims and disputes and stuff like that. It looks like, the topic has been stagnated for so long that now we got people
virtual lawsuits. I love it.
Gotta love it. What you got, Toss?
Well, your favorite topic, smartwatches. Apparently tomorrow there will be an official announcement from the CEO of Apple about the iWatch. This is going to be another high-end product, I do believe. Look, we've made jokes about watches and the smartwatches in the past.
Is this going to be a watch you put on your wrist or on your iWatch?
I think you wrap it around your neck for the price you pay for it. No, but it'll sync with your iPhone, I would imagine, for texting and music and all that stuff. Look, there's only one reason I have not bought a smartwatch. Battery life is not there yet. But if you can give me a week, and I'm not sure, Spatch, but I thought I saw something with the newest Pebble, I believe it's the Pebble smartwatch, supposedly gives you a week of battery life. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, the only problem is they still have to work on the app that does the health characteristic measurements.
Yes.
Well, sure, it looks like Steam is making some news. They've had the Steam OS sale, and it seems like it's that time of the year again where we need to talk a little bit more about the state of Linux gaming. So we're actually going to be having a Zoo Crew podcast on this Saturday night, and it's already up on my G Plus page. But apparently, Steam OS Steam has the Steam OS sale, and they are reducing the price of many games. Some of these games aren't available for Steam OS yet, but they will be later. And I mean, geez, toss for $10, I was able to pick up 3 game titles and that sort of
Nice.
thing. Yeah, it was nice. And so if you want to get your game on Linux, they do have some great offerings, a low price. How many games did you get, Toss?
The Master Chief, the Master. Oh wait, that's something else. I didn't buy anything yet.
Oh, that's it. Goodbye, everybody. Show's over.
Okay, goodbye.
All right. Well, Steam is also in the news. And here's an article from Softpedia. Steam machines might run Linux, but they are not aimed at Linux users. Valve has revealed the Steam machines and the companies that are going to build them alongside some of the hardware configurations. So the real question now is this. Will you buy a slightly overpriced PC with non-descriptive hardware that runs Linux? The Steam machines are expected to land this November, and they are detailed on the official website, with a few exceptions. Some of these hardware makers choose to provide some vague descriptions about their systems. For example, the Alienware Steam machine, the description only mentions NVIDIA GeForce GTX with 2 gig GDDR5 is the GPU solution, which could be a number of video cards. And it's not the only company being so skimpy when it comes to detailing their services. Well, I've read and heard a number of speculation and conjecture on the topic and that sort of thing. Some people were simply stating this is just going to be a simple way for Steam to introduce people over to Linux. But really, most of us Linux users, if we have the Steam client already installed on our systems, in a way, we already are running our own Steam machine. And the thing is, they even have a mod on GitHub which will allow you to install Steam OS, but rather than having it overwrite a hard drive and requiring a terabyte of drive space instead, this will let you pick your own partition configurations and that sort of thing. So I think we got a little...
Yeah. Gaming, as far as the future of Linux gaming or Linux in general, gaming, I think, is a big chunk of where it's going to be or where it should be. But I'm still waiting. Something in my back of my mind tells me that, Google, maybe not this year, but they may come out with their own, possibly, I'm just speculating on their own Linux type desktop that you can walk into a store and buy it with maybe the possibility of pre-installed games or to download games, and you're going to know everything works because you will have no incompatibility issues between video cards and video drivers and which games work with what. You and I and people who are used to Linux downloading a game and tweaking it and making it work and trying to find out the bugs, that's not that big of an issue. But for Linux gaming to compete with Microsoft gaming and the PlayStation and the other variables out there, there has to be, if it's even possible, a standard Linux desktop, and call it what you want to call it. The name doesn't matter. Call it the Google PC if you want to, where I can walk in and get a reasonably priced Linux-based machine based on Chrome OS, I'm assuming, and I think it's based off of Gentoo, somebody said. But I know if I take it home and I want to play, Linux's version of Halo called Shmalo, whatever.
Here we go again with this Shmalo.
I know. Or, Red Alert, whatever you guys are playing. I know it's going to work with no bugs. I know that because if I do take it home and it doesn't work and it has bugs, I'm going to bring it back for a refund, just like I would any computer. But the gaming thing, that's the future of Linux, or at least a big chunk of it.
I'd have to agree because, and this is all stuff that we're going to have to be saving for the show that we'll be having this upcoming Saturday night, 7 p.m. And we also will be having an announcement about a tournament and a drawing where you can win some Steam bucks to buy some games. So you'll want to catch our show next week for the official announcements on the tournaments and all that other good stuff we have coming up, because nothing's been finalized yet. But, when we consider what we have seen in the past 2 years with gaming, there has been a huge boom in titles coming over to Linux, and a lot of these are AAA titles that we're seeing. Some older and then some newer. Metro, that could be your Schmalo game. I understand Metro. I understand the game Metro has a gameplay like Halo, and maybe that could be something that will get you to switch over to Arch Linux like a good.
Oh, please. Well, did somebody pop in? Did somebody pop in?
I don't know. Did somebody pop in?
I'm here.
You made it! Deckard Cain finally arrived. Were you, did you oversleep there?
I did, just a titch. I was packing and moving a bunch of things around today. Took a sit down, then I realized, oh, I didn't change into my clocks. Oh no. I'm here now, though.
All right. Well, while you're preparing your news article, we'll pass it over to Toss.
See, that's what happens when you run a Mac computer with those defective clocks. You see, oh, wait a minute, that's a different story. Never mind. Just kidding. Toss? Well, let's see. Here's a little bit of technology nonsense, I suppose. Hackers from various countries, including Russia and the Ukraine, Spatry, they stole from 100 banks, and they rigged ATMs to, quote, spew cash. I guess by rigging spy software with the banking software, they stole an estimated $1 billion. I'm impressed. That's not a bad start. Now, when you guys hit $1 trillion, you call me. But no, they from 100 banks by using apparently sophisticated spying software.
Now, I wish I was in front of one of those ATMs wearing a ski mask, so I can cash in on that cash. Now, did this happen in the U.S. or was this a worldwide thing, or what was it?
Some of the banks were in the U.S., but apparently it wasn't just here. It appears to be a multicultural event or multi-nation event. And from what I read here, according to Kaspersky, yeah, I know it's only $1 billion. What do you want me to say? You know?
Yeah, let us know when it's $1 trillion, right?
I mean, compared to Wall Street, what's $1 billion? You buy a couple cans of peanuts with that. Come on.
Oh, goodness. And before I can pass the mic over to Deckard Cain, while we're on the subject of hacking, NSA! Everybody loves the NSA! All right, well, get this from motherboard.vice.com. A group hacked the NSA's website to demonstrate a widespread bug.
That's funny.
Yeah. A group of researchers only needed $104 and 8 hours of Amazon's cloud computing power to hack the NSA's website. And their feat was made possible by a bug that ironically was practically created by the NSA itself and its anti-encryption policies from 20 years ago. The NSA site was just a guinea pig to demonstrate a newly disclosed internet flaw called Freak. The bug was first disclosed on Monday by Akamai, allows an attacker to intercept a supposedly secure connection between people using Android or Apple devices and thousands, if not millions, of websites. This gives the hackers a chance to impersonate said website and steal confidential data like passwords and logins.
Now, is that where the song Freak Out came from, Chic? Freak out!
Oh, God, that took me back a few years. Toss, you're giving away your age. You're getting old and decrepit. Deckard, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. I got some really interesting stuff on the VMware front today.
Yeah, well, we just talked about that earlier. As a matter of fact, VMware is being sued. Anything new on that?
Well, it seems to be as though a lot more people are using GPL v2 content in the hopes that the FSF won't go after them. There's been a lot of buzz to see what the FSF does to VMware, and so far it looks to be in our favor. But there are some numbers here. VMware made $1.7 billion in revenue and $326 million in net income. And most of those profits come from ESXi, which is what they're getting sued over. So there might be some suing going on and some bumping up in the GPL v2 front for the FSF, so we might see some really interesting things going on there.
Yeah, and as I stated earlier, they were using GPL v2 licensed software and didn't provide any code to any either enhancements or changes and that sort of thing. So they're still fighting that out in Hamburg, Germany. We will definitely keep you guys up to date on that one as time progresses. What you got, Toss?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Hamburg, Germany. Here's a bit of nonsense news that apparently this is real. This is the headline. Urinators in Germany warn St. Pauli walls pee back. Apparently they've been having problems with people doing their business on the walls, public urination, that they painted the walls with this special hydrophobic, fubic paint, whatever it's called, that when you pee, the thing reverses back to you, so you actually wet yourself. I'd like to know where I can find that kind of paint.
You said St. Pauli walls, and I'm thinking St. Pauli girl. What's going into their beer vats? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
It's okay. It's a super hydrophobic paint that repels urine. Whatever that paint is, that's actually kind of cool.
It's got a little spring to it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what a pissy topic there. Okay.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Moving right along. Okay, it apparently Google boosts security in Chrome 41. Google is paying out $52,000 in security awards as part of the new browser release. Google's out with Chrome 41, providing users with new security updates, bug fixes, and features for the widely used browser. I use it myself for watching Netflix, and that's all I really use it for, actually. On the feature side, Chrome 41 now supports a number of new web technologies, including JavaScript, template literals. In a blog, Google software engineer Eric Arvidsson explains that template literals add string formatting into JavaScript. And so basically, at any rate, what they're looking to do is they're looking for people to try and break this, try and find bugs and that sort of thing, or security flaws, and they will award the monies out to they're paying researchers $52,000 in awards, with the top single award being $7,500 or $7,500 payment to a researcher identified by Google as anonymous. And the anonymous researcher was awarded that amount for finding one of the high impact out of bounds memory flaws.
You mentioned Google. There was some news last week that has the potential to be big. It sounds like it would appear from what I read that Google Plus might be separating or breaking up into separate components, like Google Streaming or Google Photos. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I don't know if you caught it, but it appears that Google Plus in the next couple months, maybe by summer, may not be the Google Plus that you and I know.
Well, that could be a good thing. Yes. Because obviously when G Plus merged with YouTube, obviously they did that to fix the trolling problems and everything, and
yes,
and such, and that brought other features such as being able to set language filters and stuff like that, and I can tell you, I hated the change. That's what prompted me to set up my own forum and everything in my own community and such. And, it started the Cup of Linux community online. So maybe that was a good effect.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I didn't but that's the thing. A lot of people in the technology world really hate changes. This could be a good thing. I don't know. maybe we'll have to talk about that post-show conversation with everybody who's listening here. Deckard, your turn. What you got?
Grab your pitchforks, folks. Ubuntu is switching to System D on Monday.
I have a question. What exactly is System D anyway?
Well, System D is a init system, which is like a back end. Well, why don't you explain a little bit better, Deckard, because you know all that stuff. You're a programmer and stuff.
I actually have been paying very, very little attention to this just because of the amount of drama that's going over all of this.
Yeah, that's what I read, yeah.
And there's a nice little quote here from our favorite pal, Linus Torvalds, who once called the System D coders K. Sievers and Leonard Poert, bleh, I'm not even going to pronounce that, a bunch of bleeping prima donnas. So really all I've seen in this whole discussion is a bunch of people saying it's fantastic and a bunch of people cursing their names. So I've tried to stay as far away from it as I possibly can and wait till actual products come out and then compare them side by side and see what the big deal's all about.
But Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong. I was kind of joking before, of course. But isn't Systemd just part of the startup utility management of your PC?
Well, according to the Wikipedia, in Unix-based computer operating systems, init, short for initialization, is the first process started during booting of the computer system. Init is a daemon process that continues running until the system is shut down. It is the direct or indirect ancestor of all other processes and automatically adopts all orphaned process. Init is started by the kernel using a hard-coded file name. A kernel panic will occur if the kernel is unable to start it. Init is typically assigned process identifier 1. And the design of init has diverged in Unix systems such as System 3, System 5, from the functionality provided by the init in Research Unix and BSD derivatives, blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's an init system. It runs all your, helps run your programs and stuff like that.
So what's the big deal? I'm not sure I follow.
Well, I think some of the, I'm just, this could be conjecture on my part here.
Yeah,
I think it has to do with the way Systemd logs things versus other init systems. Also, apparently there has been talk about the lead developer of Systemd being somewhat questionable in character. I really don't know. All I can say is I'm using Systemd on Manjaro, and it seems to work just fine. You have
it's battery certified. See, folks. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it works. But the thing is, Linus Torvalds had issue with it because, they want the kernel developers to fix their coding problems and that sort of thing. That's why Linus is using bleeping so-and-sos in his comments and stuff.
Not to take away from Linus, but when has there ever come a time recently when he's never had an issue with something? It seems, right?
Yeah,
First was
true.
the love finger, and then the other thing, Gnome 3 Unholy Mess. Then some other things, and now this. So I don't know. I mean, look, if it works as a dual booter, that's all that I care about. Just like there was or is this controversy with Wayland versus Mir, the video display thing. What's the best one? It's the one that works, right?
Well, the thing is, we're still using X.
Right.
We're still using X because that works. And as a matter of fact, the people that are developing Wayland, if I'm not mistaken, are still updating X, and people are still using it. So,
well, it is a bit dated. It's over 10 years old, or maybe even more than that, right?
So I'm going to stick my hands in this water basin and just wash my hands of this stuff. If it works, use it. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing here is that as far as I've heard, it's such a big change at the lower ends of the operating system that many people are like, well, we're changing over from X, we're changing from init over to the new System D protocol and all this other stuff, and it's too much for them to do. And as you said before, Spatry, it says here, that the developer is just insanely hard to work with. And of course, Linus Torvalds is insanely hard to work with. So there's so much drama being drummed up around that. I honestly don't think it's that big of an issue. But for those of you that do think it is a big issue, check out Devuan. It's a fork that the Debian team has made to away from SysMD. So if you really don't like it, that's the path you should take.
Maybe we should just get the brains here from Cup of Linux all together and just make our own startup name. It's call it, Schmiston D or something, and have our own testing, our own little group, and tell the rest of the community goodbye. All right,
Cue the cricket noise.
Yes. I have one last nonsense. Actually, you might like this one. This is in Alliance, Ohio, not too far. Pay attention, because this is truth is stranger than fiction. According to a police statement, Spatry, a 911 caller accuses his wife of stealing his cocaine.
He's calling in 911.
Yes.
Complaining that his wife's... Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Never underestimate the power of stupidity. I keep telling you guys, why won't you listen to me? That's all I have.
Now, the thing is, did the report go on to say anything further? Did the cops confiscate any of this coke from the premises, or
no? They took it to they took it to Vegas and sold it. What do you think they got to do with it? Come on.
You got anything else, Deckard?
Over in China, they've created this wonderful new invention. Say hello to the robot that feeds you tomatoes while you run. Oh yes, it's this great big metal tomato-shaped robot that sits on your shoulders, digs out a tomato from its lower back, spins it all the way around, and slowly feeds it to you, all while you're running. Best invention ever.
Yeah, like I really want to ingest food while I'm running. Hey,
the best part.
Brings new meaning to eating on the run.
The best part, they say here the inspiration comes from a woman that jogs every day with a banana in her back pocket. So you can easily make, the jump from, a woman running with a banana to we must have a robot feeding us tomatoes. I don't know what's going on there.
My mind went into a nasty place when you were talking about the banana in the back pocket.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well,
bananas.
I have one last thing, and it's not really nonsense.
Okay.
Intel graphics driver for Linux 4.1 will have more Zen GT vGPU support. And this is from the Phronix website. While the first release candidate of the Linux 4.0 kernel is barely 1 week old, Intel's open source graphics drive, blah, blah. I can't talk today, Toss. Must be something in the coffee.
Stay away from that.
Yeah, really. Well, believe me, I'm not doing anything like that. Intel's open source graphic driver development team already has changes queued up for the next kernel cycle, Linux 4.1. Now, it's my understanding that Intel has been contributing a lot of code to the Linux kernel, and they're probably the most friendly in terms of that versus ATI or NVIDIA, who got the love finger.
Yes.
So, that's one reason why, as far as I'm aware of, there isn't really any proprietary graphics driver when you're running Linux on an Intel card, because the kernel just provides the support for that immediately out of the box. So this is good news. So Intel's continuing in its tradition of bringing more drivers over to the Linux kernel, which is good news indeed. That's all I have. You got anything else, Toss?
No, not at this time, but I'm sure we will next week, right?
We will. And next week, Deckard's going to be making an announcement regarding a couple of Linux game night tournaments. We're also going to have a drawing and that sort of thing. He'll be telling us about that. Got any other news for us, Deckard, before we run off?
Nope, no news, but there is a thread up on the forum. Go check it out if you're interested in that tournament. As of right now, nothing's in stone, but I'm looking for community feedback and a list of people who would like to join. So if you know you're in on it, come on over to the forum and post on the thread there. It's called Cup of Linux Gaming Tournament in Spatrix Gaming Community area of the forum.
Exactly. And, of course, you'll want to join us next Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, UTC -5. We're going to be talking about the state of Linux gaming. And Toss today probably won't be on the show with us because he didn't buy any games from the Steam OS sale. You bad. This is why they're not making many more games for Linux, because people like you are too stingy to go out and
this is why
buy something from the sale.
This is why Microsoft people don't want to come on the show, because we're so friendly, you know?
Yeah, who says the Linux community's hostile? We're not hostile, are we, Deckard?
No, you just do everything we say.
Of
do
course
everything
not.
right, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Shut up, Deckard.
Just send your comments to Cult of Linux and there'll be no problem.
Uh-oh, here we go with the Cult of Linux again. We're going to burn for the penguin baptized in gasoline, right?
Good one, Matthew. Yeah, good one.
My manager once told me a joke. He says, "How do you know somebody who's using Linux?" Oh, believe me, they'll tell you.
All right, that was another wonderful Sunday night news and nonsense report. We'll be back next Sunday night at 8 p.m. You're welcome to join us live, or you can catch us on YouTube. We'll be around next week. Thank you, all of you, for joining us in the listening room, and we'll have some nice post-show
What is it with you tonight?
I can't talk today. It beats me.
No, I'm not smoking nothing tonight. No,
All
not
right,
me,
Toss. I'm going to kick you. Goodbye.
Take care.
Ciao.